Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith, seeking God and growing through the quiet stirrings of midlife.
And to that question, we all find ourselves asking, what now, Lord?
Through honest conversations, shared stories, and practical Catholic wisdom, we explore how God refines us in changing seasons.
Strengthening our minds in truth, steadying our hearts in faith, and deepening our spirits in Christ.
Whether you're navigating a transition, discerning what's next, or simply longing to grow deeper,
you don't have to do it alone.
This is a place where we grow together, learning to trust God more deeply and to step into who He is calling us to be in this season.
Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode from Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. We're so glad you're joining us today.
That's right. Oh, I see your flag there, Lisa. That's appropriate because today we're celebrating a truly historic milestone. It is our semi-quincentennial, or as most people know, the U.S. turns 250 years old.
It is hard to wrap your mind around it. Not the word you just used, but the 250 years of history, of challenges and triumphs, of sacrifice and growth, and people striving to build a nation founded on some truly remarkable ideas.
Yes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Not politics, not principles, but specifically one principle that was revolutionary in 1776, and it remains just as important today. And that is that in the Declaration, the founders declared that all people are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Not rights granted by a king, not rights created by a government, but not even rights bestowed by a constitution, but rights that come from God Himself.
Right. And so today we'll explore that unique vision that shaped our founding and how it connects with our Catholic teaching and what it means to be grateful, faithful, and responsible citizens as we celebrate the nation's 250th birthday.
We're glad you're here. So let's dive on in. Okay, Shel. So this idea for the podcast started because of an article I was reading that the people in this article, they were not understanding or remembering where the founding of this country and that our rights come from God, and that makes our country unique. And so we started talking about it. We thought, why not for the 250th? Let's really celebrate that because it is right in line with our Catholic beliefs that our rights come from God.
Right. And Lisa, I think everyone reads the Declaration of Independence at some point in their education, but I don't know, honestly, I don't know if there's teaching the importance and the value of that line that comes in there. We hold these truths to be self-evident. I love that line, self-evident, as if we ourselves can realize this without somebody telling it to us, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And the idea of this wasn't that old of a theory because we were talking about John Locke before and his political theory connection. What was it? What was that? It was the theory of natural rights, wasn't it? And that was an idea that was only, about 100 years old at the time. And so if I can imagine that if you are sitting here in the middle of this conflict with mother country, England, and fighting over it, and they're like, why do we have to do all these things for our government, a king so far away? And these men are learned and they've read John Locke. These are theories that are starting to take root and develop. And so that idea that we have these unalienable rights that come from a Creator, not from a government. And I think that Creator is the word that matters.
Right. I agree. And, we use the phrase unalienable rights, and most people, by the way, say inalienable, and it's unalienable. But it means they can't be taken away from us. by anyone.
Is that the lawyer legal term?
That is. Or it's the political science degree term. I don't know. I got a couple different things going on today.
I should have looked that word up before we started. Yeah. Unalienable.
Unalienable. But we have the distinction between rights granted by the government and rights that are inherent to human people, to every person. And this was revolutionary. Mm-hmm. At the time, we were the first country founded on these principles. And I kind of wonder sometimes if what some of these other ruling powers, authorities, even political scientists of the day, we know what the political scientists thought, but what they really thought about this, if it would last, if it wasn't last, it really was an experimental thing. We're not going to get too deep in the political theory, so dear listener, do not worry about this. If your eyes are really back in your head and you're going like, I tuned out in U.S. government, or took that intro to poli-sci in college. I know we were required to take intro to poli-sci or intro to government in college, and some of us made a degree out of it, and some people were like zipping on to the next thing. So we're not going to dive too deep, but it really came about based on all of these, political theorists, and it was kind of percolating and speculating at that time that had been built on and built on and built on. And Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers really just took it to heart and based a country out of it.
Right. Yeah, these men, they definitely were students of all these theories that were coming up about this time period. But even more so, a lot of this is still based on the rights of, a lot of these are still based on rights coming from God. And I know today we try not to talk about whether the U.S. is based on Judeo-Christian values, but it was founded by men who were raised on Judeo-Christian values. So it's natural that they talk about a creator, because the idea of man having rights from God comes from the Bible, and it goes right back to Genesis chapter 1. God created mankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. So right there, we know that our human dignity originates with God, and that every person possesses value because we are made in God's image. We've talked about this before, that we have this, that every person deserves dignity and respect because they are creatures made in the image and likeness of God. So,
and these are truths of Christianity that the founders knew that at that time was woven into the fabric of most societies, Western culture societies, and the political principles also were kind of woven in there too. We nowadays can look to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 1700. The dignity of the human person is rooted in his creation and the image and likeness of God. Our founders didn't invent human dignity. They recognized it, and then they built a nation to protect it.
That's right. And in recognizing that our rights come from God, that means then that having freedom itself carries a purpose, and more than that, a responsibility to each other.
And in that freedom, they purposely, we've talked a lot about the Christian values that the country was founded on or used to found the country, but they purposely didn't create it as a theocracy. Right. They really wanted it to be, we're not going to talk about separation of church and state and all that, because anyway. But they believed that liberty required virtue. They believed in all these principles, but they wanted a government separate from all of the problems they'd had in the past with these monarchies and things like that.
Well, and I'm going to go there, Lisa. You're looking at me, but you have to keep in mind that a lot of the colonies were formed from England, and England, the king had broken with the church. King Henry VIII had broken with the church, and he had set himself up as the head of the church. And so what's unique and interesting is all these colonies are separate and independent from one another. They all have a tie back to Mother England, but they are separate entities. And they all have different rules and responsibilities regarding the practice of faith in the colonies. Well, they can't come together. They don't want a king who's also in charge of the religion. And that's why it's not a theocracy. They wanted freedom. That was the freedom to behave, to choose, to live together, to all the things that were oppressing them from overseas. They wanted those things. They believed that moral responsibility was essential to self-government and that the rights were grounded in a higher authority than the king or even the individual colony states.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you remember when this happened, Declaration and then the Constitution, they already had diverse people, not just from England, living there. There were colonists from many different places, and many different types of Christianity and Catholicism included living in the colonies. So I think that recognizing that amalgamation of people coming together to create this new country, and they just took it all to heart. So you will find references to divine providence in the founding documents. We, from the very beginning, had national days of prayer and days of Thanksgiving. A lot of historical use of the phrase, God bless America, which I think we take for granted. We say it and you hear it, but we sing it, but people don't often think about the fact that what does it mean exactly?
Yeah. Well, it's more than just a patriotic slogan. Yeah. I think when we say God bless America, we're recognizing that our freedom is in itself a blessing from God. And then maybe we're also inviting the opportunity to pray for wisdom for our leaders and our people, for humility, and maybe even for guidance. I think a lot of people right now, we say God bless America. We're not just, it's not just a rally cry. It's it is a true sentiment to express that God, please continue to bless America and guide us so that we do the right things. We know we're going to screw it up, right? I mean, we're all human. We're all sinful. We're going to screw up here and there, but we believe in the power of God to bring us through that and to set us right and to see each other with that dignity and respect. Even though we struggle to get there sometimes.
Did you feel the urge to start singing?
Yes, I did.
I could see it on your face. I could see it.
Through the light. I can't remember the words all of a sudden, but yeah, through the night with a light from above. There we go.
Kind of like your podcast light right there.
From the mountains to... Okay.
That cracked me up. Sorry.
All right.
I know you can't see your face because you don't look at yourself when you're podcasting, but I could see the wheels turning like, I'm going to sing.
I can sing it.
You can sing it. Just a little tangent for a second. How many, we were talking about our favorite patriotic hymns earlier, and I'm not going to sing on camera, but we were talking about it, and there's so many. And I feel like we don't really have the opportunity to sing them that often. So you said you used to play them in the car for the kids to teach it to them.
Oh, this is like 10 plus years ago when my girls were younger in elementary school. We would play I had the Lee Greenwood CD. Keep in mind, our children were born right after 9/11. And there was a big patriotic surge in this country after 9/11. And so we had a lot of songs, but I had a whole CD of Sousa marches and Stars and Stripes Forever and, Ruffles and Flourishes. And so we did. I had a whole thing of American hymns, American folk songs, and yeah. So I still have them, but I haven't pulled them out in a long time. It was moving that made me find them.
Yeah. I think later on in the podcast, we got some practical ways to celebrate. And I think that might involve some music.
Make me go dig that other box out, aren't you? I hid it away.
Yeah. So we were talking about our freedom, we were talking about God bless America and prayer and stuff like that. And so having that Christian freedom in this country, it's ordered towards truth and goodness, but we have responsibilities as part of having that freedom and having that Christian tie. We really need a moral formation so that we know how to best serve our country and how to best serve each other and live up to these ideals and virtues that they put in place for us.
Yeah. And I want to say something too, Lisa. I know we're Christian, we're Catholic. We are using this scripture here to kind of make our point. But if you think about it, you don't have to be Christian to understand that freedom is ordered toward truth and goodness. And you may not know the verses, but we found this beautiful one, Galatians 5:13, for you were called to freedom. God tells us you were called to freedom, brothers and sisters, but do not use this freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, rather serve one another through love. So if you think about that, we are called to serve our country. And we say it all the time, serve our country in the military, serve our country in politics, serve our country in community, because we are a community and we're not being forced to. Do you realize? I mean, we're not being forced. We have our right and a responsibility and a duty and an opportunity, but that's because we have that freedom.
No, I agree. And I will say the success, we called it this American experiment that we're living, that the founding fathers created and have passed down to us. The success of it depends on us. It depends on the rights, on us exercising our rights as citizens, right? To use those rights responsibly and to protect those rights for future generations. And it is a legacy worth celebrating. I think I saw a poll the other day talking about the percentage of Americans who are proud of their country, and I don't think it's awful to say, there are decisions made in the country that haven't always been the best or perfect or good, on occasions. It is a country run by humans, and humans are, human. We all mess up.
Mm-hmm. And when was the last time we ran a perfect family?
Mine.
Or a perfect neighborhood?
Yeah.
Or
a perfect church.
I was going to say it, but I hesitated. Yeah.
I just mean that when people are involved, things get messy, is what I'm saying.
Why do we expect perfection from the United States? Why are we not allowed to make mistakes? And hopefully, as people come together and push through those mistakes. And we're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be able to please everybody always, all the time. But we have the freedom for us to be able to self-govern and participate in this great community. I know we struggle to live up to our ideals, but the ideals themselves are worthy.
Yes.
And
agree.
Inspiring. We should not stop trying to always use our rights and responsibilities to help others and to serve others. Nothing's perfect, but we do have freedom here.
And we have freedom in ways that we don't even realize. And the foundation of our country, because our rights come from God, someone says, what does it matter? What does it matter? Well, it matters because, for one, human dignity is protected. Our rights come from God, and they are to the individual, not to the government. And so, and they can't be taken away or restricted, except for in certain small circumstances. That's a lot of court cases about this, by the government. In speaking, government power is limited. And it's expressly said the Constitution of the United States is a limiting document. It limits the power of the government, not granting it more power over us. So it's kind of an inverse. And then our conscience matters, like how we act and how we exercise our rights. In the way that it's set up, our faith, the way that we live our lives, the way we exercise our lives and our freedoms and our desires, even how we want to do things, that's protected. And if you study other countries, other civilizations, the way that they live, and really look at it, you will see the differences. And I'm not going to call out any other countries, but in travels, in study, and looking, in talking to people from other countries, you'll hear things, and when you really stop and look at it, a lot of them, it sounds odd because a lot of them believe that their rights are granted them from the government and not from God. And it's a whole shift in mindset. So every time we want to go copy another country, we have to stop and think about, wait a second, where do their rights come from? From the government. Okay, ours don't. So it is a different way of thinking and a different way of, the way you exercise the government here and the way that we're legislated and different. Okay, I could go on forever. Sorry.
Yes, I was about to say, this is starting to sound like one of those law lectures, which isn't bad because you know me, I'm always interested. And
yeah.
Good, banter of words there. But
I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no guarantee of prosperity in the United States. There's no guarantee, but we have the freedom to be individuals and to go after what we want. And there's a lot more opportunity in that way. So I think it's better when, societies flourish when they recognize that these truths are greater than themselves. Mm-hmm. So
if you think about it, most of us came from immigrants. We're here because someone in our family tree chose to come here. And you think about what they sacrificed to get here and why they came and the enticement of coming here. And a lot of people that we meet nowadays, I mean, it was their parents who came or they came themselves. For us, it was our great-grandparents who came. You can speak with military members, service members, veterans, and talk about their service, their dedication, their patriotism to the country and why they serve. And then, we think about how to be grateful for these things.
Lisa, that's right. And let's not also forget that we have a lot of people who go into civic service, civil service, and they serve the public. And that does require a bit of a sacrifice also, because sometimes they leave good paying jobs to go into working for the government or trying to make things better, nonprofits, churches. Mm-hmm. Churches are here. They sustain communities. Think of all the ministries and volunteer work that we've done, helping others who are less fortunate or just trying to support those in the community. So, and then even if you don't want to go that far, you can even say, look within your own family, how we take care of one another, how we care for our neighbors. You do know your neighbors, right? I'm getting to know the new ones.
You mean you across the street?
Yeah, and the others on the side. I was talking about meeting them. And, we were talking about what our neighborhood is doing to celebrate Independence Day this year. And hopefully we'll get to attend some festivities and meet other people too, and just be one in the excitement of celebrating this year. Mm-hmm.
So what does patriotism look like to you? I'm going to give you the hard question.
You know what? Okay, what does patriotism look like? Okay, no, let me think for a second. Patriotism. Patriotism means being proud that we live. Let me rephrase that. Patriotism is not just proud, but grateful every day that we live in a country where we have the freedoms that we have. Okay. Mm-hmm. It means that we can buy the car we want. We can take the job we want. We can serve our neighbors. We can worship the way we want. We can write and speak the way we want. Now, it also requires a commitment to good. It doesn't mean that we should go around doing wrong. It means that we need to be patriotic. It means that we serve one another for the good of our country, for the good of ourselves, for the good of each other. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good people in this world, in this country, who just desire to help it live up to its ideals. You know, and we're not always going to agree on how to achieve these ideals. And we talk about, and that's where politics comes in, but we're not always going to agree. But I think it's relatively safe to say that we do want the same things. We want people to be able to live with the rights and responsibilities and have the freedom to take care of themselves.
I would say I would agree with all of those things. I think that patriotism is not just blind loyalty or nationalism to the country because you have to. I mean, that's part of our freedom, is that we don't have to, right? I mean, we have the freedom not to be patriotic. But the other thing is political idolatry. Patriotism is not just following a political party or person or anything else just blindly. You have the choice to agree or disagree and think through what is best for the country in your mind, and then follow those people. And it's definitely not hostility against people who disagree. We're allowed to disagree with each other. I think that's part of what makes this country great, is to have dialogue and civil discourse. I'm going to use the word civil discourse. I heard a great speech, great speech once by Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. He was in Houston and I got to go, and it was all about civility and the way that people engage one another in the public sphere in a civil manner. And I don't know how many people know he's known as this conservative, justice, right? Very, very conservative member of the court. However, his best friend on the court was Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was considered an extreme progressive or liberal on the court. And yet they were best friends and traveled together, and their families hung out together. And I think that he was, sorry, I'm not on a tangent. I think he is such a great role model. Their friendship is a role model of how we can have civil discourse and agree to disagree and all be one nation together.
Yeah. And I was just thinking of lately, he's been maligned, I think, in the press. But I love, and we need freedom of the press. We have the choice to turn off the TV or change the channel. But there were two things you started talking. I've got two other tangents. We're just going to be tangents today. Sorry. First one was how much Dad loves the story of Justice Thomas's rise through his education and his background and where he comes from, because they're very close to the same age. But the second is that I think it was Dad who recommended that I read the book Listening to the Law by Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Did I say her name right? Amy Coney
Barrett.
I can't remember her name. You say it, what?
Amy Coney Barrett.
Okay, I did. And it's fantastic. It gives such to be required reading all over the place, because it gives such a good insight into what the Supreme Court does and how they interact as maybe not friends, but civilly, with respect for one another, and just how different it is than what you hear about on the news. And it's a really good book.
I have not read it. Okay.
Oh, you will love it. Second thing, you were probably like, I knew that, but I did not know some of those things. The second thing was, you were talking about what patriotism is not. I keep having these images of that movie, The American President, the one with Annette Bening and Michael Douglas. Yeah. And they do that whole thing about, you want freedom of speech. America is hard. America is advanced government. You have to be willing to let, what is it? I want to look up the quote. Someone stand on a street corner and give and yell and scream and say the things that you would give your own dying breath to oppose. And that's America. So you can't do that everywhere in the world.
Not at all.
So we should, I do agree with you. We really do need better civil discourse. We do need everybody to take a breath and step back and recognize that we're talking to human beings, and we do each have the same rights. And that is that dignity and respect. because we are all made in the likeness and image of God. But,
well, I would also argue that we should presume people coming from a good point of view and not presume that someone is evil and demented or trying to bring us down or whatever.
We all have different experiences, which means we all have different perspectives. And there is room for all of that if we take the time to know people. So,
all right. I think we should move on.
I was about to say, I think that's a good segue kind of into it is the duty of citizens to contribute along with the civil authorities to the good of society in a spirit of truth, justice, solidarity, and freedom. And that comes from the Catechism of the Church, the Catholic Church, 2239. So, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. So ways that we can exercise our rights and responsibilities as Christians, as Catholics, you could consider these questions. How am I contributing to the common good? How am I serving my community?
In a positive way.
Yes. Do I pray for the leaders? Do I engage respectfully with those who disagree with me? And I think, as we've said, that's a huge emphasis on that point these days. But we also have a duty to participate in citizenship, not to just sit back and disengage. So, again, to quote the Catechism, submission to authority and co-responsibility for the common good make it morally obligatory to pay taxes, to exercise the right to vote, and to defend one's country. And that's 2240. So citizenship is participation. We need to vote. We need to engage in the civic public, I always call it the public square, engage in the public square. It's part of Christian discipleship. And I would also say that we're called to be the light of God in these places and spread God's love in the public square. Whether you do it in an evangelistic way or you just do it by being a really good person and kind of just letting God's love flow through you to others. But that is part of our call as really all Christians, not just Catholics, but all Christians in the public square as citizens of their country.
Okay. So to kind of sum up what you were saying there,
you can tell we're not following our outline.
No, we're just kind of all over the place today. So our rights come from God.
Yes.
We have responsibilities. Those responsibilities come out of gratitude for these gifts and rights that God has given to us. So we're gonna segue now as we prepare to celebrate the semi-quincentennial Independence Day.
Yes, 250th birthday.
I know she
just
hates
called
it
the
when I use
250th birthday.
Hey, I'm the one that gets angry when they say 4th of July instead of Independence Day. So
I know
it's Independence Day. How do we put these ideas into practice, Lisa? What can we do? What's practical ways that we can participate in Independence Day this year?
I've got some answers.
I'll bet you do. You have lots of answers.
I have lots of answers on this. One of the things you could do is read the Declaration of Independence. I don't know when the last time you read it was. I don't know when the last time I read it was.
But you know what?
It's not very long.
You used to read it. It used to be one of those things that was read every single year, because I know that from Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Remember that?
No.
In her books, Paul would always read the Declaration of Independence.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
how they celebrated.
How funny. No, I didn't. I don't
remember which of the books, but
I didn't read them.
You didn't read her books?
No, I didn't read them.
Wait,
I watched the TV show. Does that count?
How have we lived all these years as sisters, and I did not know you have not read
Little House on the Prairie? No,
Yes.
I watched the TV show.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You had a very good question. When was the last time you read the Declaration of Independence? I think that's important.
Also,
would you like me to read it right now?
No, I'm not going to read it right now. The next one is to pray for the nation. to pray for the country as a whole, and to pray for the leaders and the people in the country.
Yes. And you know what? We should go out and attend some community celebrations. Don't feel like you have to just sit in the house for this one. And it's okay. Listen, I know people get FOMO. I get it too. That's why I bought my shirt. But I bought a shirt that says One Nation Under God. Don't feel like you have to just sit at home on this one or decorate the house. Like, you've got all your decorations. I don't know where any of mine are. But get out and go to a park. Go to a public area. Go and attend a community celebration somewhere. Someone is going to do fireworks, unless it's pouring down rain or you're in a burn ban. So.
Well, I'll say lots of places, lots of small towns still have parades, 4th of July parades.
We had that growing up.
We had that growing up. I'm always a little jealous when I see that on social, all these little towns that still do big 4th of July parades. Another one is to thank veterans. I don't think we do that enough, to thank our veterans and our first responders. These men and women are dedicating their lives to the public, to protecting our country, to protecting our citizens, to being there for the individuals.
Well, remind me, and I'll text your daughter and thank her. I'm so excited for her getting out there as a first responder. So here's something else. Teach children about the founding principles and do it in a positive way. Don't do it as America is bad. Teach them about the civic responsibilities we all have, the freedoms, the rights, the responsibilities, but teach it from a positive perspective. Teach it in that we are carrying the banner. We are carrying the light. It's up to us as individuals to make the world better and to do our part within our communities and within our civic areas.
And this last one is a lot like our episode last week, in that reflect on the things in this country, the freedoms, the experiences that we take for granted.
Yeah. So as you take that list of practical ideas, we also want to give you some questions that you can reflect on. So for those of you,
we forgot one.
What did we
That's
forget?
not on our list that we were going to say.
What?
Sing all the patriotic songs.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna go on Spotify and see if I can find. There's gotta be patriotic playlists, and I think while we're making dinner tonight, that's gonna be our playlist.
Yeah. Well, I was on YouTube earlier, and you can play all the Sousa marches. I did find those. It's like an hour of nothing but patriotic marches. I was looking for something I could sing to, not just the background patriotic marches, though.
To John Philip Sousa marches.
No, but you can sing the Star Spangled Banner. You can sing Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Yes.
You can sing America the Beautiful. God bless America. God bless America. Hold on, let me think. You can sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We used to sing that in school.
In school, we did. Yeah.
I'm sure there are more. Those are the ones that are coming to the top of my mind at the moment. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Go read some of the other founding documents. You know what? I have a book called The Patriot's Handbook. Ooh, Lisa's like, oh God, she brought that out. And it's got all kinds of great poems and excerpts and all kinds of wonderful things about America. But my favorite was this one, and it's the Citizen's Handbook. Can you read it? I don't know if you can.
I know you got a glare. I can't really see it.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
And I told you before we started that I was prepping this by reading Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Mic drop. Like, so much. Would we have had a Declaration of Independence if Thomas Paine had not kind of ignited the citizenry of the colonies to come together under these principles? I don't know.
Next thing you know, you're going to tell me to go read the Federalist Papers.
No, sorry. You say that, and all I've got now is Hamilton in my head. But go watch Hamilton.
Well, I was about to say there are a lot of really, really good books and shows and documentaries that are all coming out this year for the 250th. There's events. It's been so exciting to see America as a whole, or the United States as a whole, being excited for I was going to say the 4th of July, which I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Independence Day this year. It's just this ramp up, and it's amazing. And I don't remember this kind of excited patriotism really in my children's lives. So that they can remember, I should say. So it feels more like when we were kids and we would decorate our bikes and ride them in the 4th of July parade up the neighborhood street and with all the others. And our dad rode his bike, like leading the parade in the neighborhood and all of that. So,
and we would weave the streamers in and out of the bicycle.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Lisa, you were too young to remember the bicentennial.
I'm the younger
I was
sister.
pretty young myself. Yeah.
I don't remember it, but I've seen the pictures of us at the celebration. We lived in St. Louis at the time, and
went down
we have
on the
some
river
pictures of us
by the Gateway Arch, which I
so
have not been to in so long.
I think we've got a recap of our theme today that we might have, in between all of our little segues, we might have hit, and that is the American founders believed our rights come from God. The Catholic Church teaches that those rights arise from the God-given dignity of every human person. And with those rights come responsibilities to seek truth, practice virtue, participate in civic life, and work for the common good.
Wow. So for 250 years, America has endured not because she's perfect, but because her foundation points beyond human power to a higher truth. That every person is created by God and every person possesses a dignity that no government can erase. I know we've kind of had a lot of segues in this episode, Lisa, but I've had a lot of fun.
It is. I'm going to wave my flag one more time.
Yeah. Man, I wish I had one. I think we have a picture of us waving flags at the bicentennial. We should find that.
We do.
Post that.
I think I have that on my computer somewhere. So I will look for it. And then, if I find a good Spotify playlist, I might share that in the show notes.
Oh, absolutely.
So check it out. I don't know. I'm happy. I realize I don't have like any American flag clothing to wear, so I'm very upset about that. I need to go shopping.
See, that's a civic duty you're doing your part to support the economy.
I need to be an obnoxious American and wear all the things. So, but seriously, y'all, if you've stuck with us through all of our craziness today, it's an important topic. And as we come to the end of our conversation, we keep coming back to that simple but profound truth that really is at the heart of our founding and that we need to remember and really promote so that further generations will also learn it and remember it. And that is that the belief that our rights come from God, that our country was established on that.
Right. And that's a powerful idea because it begins with something even deeper. And I will say more important, and that is the dignity of every human person.
As Catholics, we know that every person is created in the image and likeness of God. That's where our worth comes from. And that's where our dignity comes from. And ultimately, that's the foundation of every authentic human right.
Right. For 250 years, America has sought, sometimes imperfectly, but sincerely, to build a society that recognizes and protects that dignity. And while we can honestly acknowledge our nation's shortcomings, we can also be grateful for the ideals that have guided us and the freedoms that allow our faith and family and community to flourish. But today we've also talked about something that's easy to overlook, and that is responsibility.
Exactly. Rights are gifts, but gifts come with obligations.
Because the Catechism reminds us that citizens are called to contribute to the common good in the spirit of truth, justice, solidarity, and freedom. I know I already said that once, and that means participating in our civic life, caring for our communities, staying informed about what's going on. And honestly, pray for our leaders. Oh my gosh, everyone, so much weighs on their shoulders, pray for them and treat one another with charity and respect. In other words, be the kind of citizens that help our nation live up to those high ideals.
And as we celebrate Independence Day this year, we hope you'll take the time to reflect on the blessings you've received. Spend time with family and friends and attend a community celebration.
Read a little history and thank those who serve our country and who serve in our communities.
And most importantly, offer a prayer of gratitude to God. Because ultimately, every blessing, every freedom, and every opportunity comes from Him.
We thank you today for joining us on Of Sound Mind and Spirit, and we wish you and your families a joyful, meaningful, and blessed Independence Day celebration.
And I'm going to say Happy 4th of July.
And I'm going to say, God bless America.
Woo! Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.